everybody, and welcome along to the Big Quiz Night In live quiz show. Hope you're all doing well, and thank you all for joining me. Let's see who we've got in the chat today. It's a bit of a quiet one so far. I know a few people have passed on their apologies tonight. They couldn't make it, but we do have some of you here in the chat. So let's just say a quick hello, first of all, to Pinky and the Brain. Hope you're doing well. And I can also see in the chat we have got Sue and the Donuts. Hope you're also doing well. We do have coming up in just a moment the first little segment of the show, as always, which is when one of my kids comes to help ask the first question. That's for your bonus points this evening. As always, once you get that question, if you get it correct, you get to have bonus points that you can add on to your team's score for any of the first three quiz rounds. We have got 3 full general knowledge trivia rounds tonight with a different theme to each one. And then, of course, we also have the game show rounds at the end of the evening as well. So do let me know if you're here in the chat. Let's see some messages coming in, and then we'll crack on with the quiz as well. So I want to move on to see who's going to be joining us for that first question this evening. Will it be Abby? Will it be Rue? Will it be both of them? I wonder. Let's play their intro and see what happens. Okay, here he is then. It's Ruben's turn this week. He's come to ask the first question of the evening. So all you need to do for this one then is to say hello in the chat and then give us your guess to the following question. It's going to come up on screen. Ruben's going to ask it. If you get it right, you get yourself a bonus point. I normally say the first 3 people to get it right tonight, but it is a smaller turnout this evening. So it might just be that if you get it right, you get a bonus point regardless. So let's see. Are you ready to read this out, mate?
Yes.
Yeah, you say hello to everybody.
Hello, guys.
All right, let's bring up the question first of all then. Okay, there you go. Go on.
Which of the following is not one of the ghosts in Pac-Man? Inky, Blinky, Pinky, or Stinky?
Okay, which of the following is not one of the ghosts in Pac-Man? A, B, C, or D? Got to say hello to Jew and Ant in the chat. Hope you're doing well. I did hear from the other half of your team that they couldn't make it this evening. So sorry to hear that. But also hello to Chris in Drizzly Blackpool, she says. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for joining us. And camera appears to have gone off. I hope you guys can still hear me. That's very odd. Hold on a minute. Let's just sort that out anyway. Lots of you are guessing already to say what you think the answer is.
People are doing little smiley faces or D's. I thought they were smiley faces.
Let's just bring this up again. There we go, that's better. Right, give me a minute, guys. I'm just going to adjust the camera and then we'll be right back with you. You see the guesses people are saying though, mate?
Yes.
They're all going with what? They're all going with D, aren't they? You see that? D, D,
Yeah.
D, D, D. Let's have a look here as well. Yeah, I know. The microphone is separate. I'm just going to turn the camera off.
Abracadabra. Hold on.
There we go. All right. All right. That'll do. That'll do. We're back. Right. Okay. So, what is the answer then, mate? Can you tell them the answer?
Well, obviously you have Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Stinky.
No. So the answer is Stinky. Yeah. Because the other one randomly is called Clyde. As you can see there, I put the graphic up on screen. So that means that everybody got it right. And since we've only got a smaller group this evening, should we give them all a point?
I think that's a bit too generous.
We didn't plan this discussion. You think that's a bit too generous? Should we just say 3 of the 5 then?
Yeah, it's a bit too generous.
3 of the 5.
Nah, let's just do it.
Okay, all right. Everybody gets a bonus point then. So well done to Jew and the Britzillians team that are here tonight. Well done to Eric and to Chris. You get a bonus point. Sue and the Donuts and Gabby as well. Pinky and the Brain. Everybody gets a bonus point this evening. There we go. I wonder if Abby will be as generous when she's back on the quiz in a couple of weeks' time.
I did it in the end.
Yeah. You're like, well, maybe. All right, okay. All right, let's move that out of the way then. And thank you very much for your help, Rue.
Everyone. See you next time.
Yes, right, okay. So that's that then. Let's move on now to our first round proper as we say goodbye to Ruben and we get on with round number 1. Let's see what the subjects are tonight. Okay, all right, so we are into our first question round of the evening then, everybody, and it is Mystery Month. Now, we have done questions or rounds like this before. Essentially, it's going to be a general knowledge round, but there will be a bonus point up for grabs, and that bonus point will be if you can work out which month of last year all of this stuff happened in, okay? So you're going to get 15 questions, seemingly completely random stuff. All of it was popular or made the headlines in a particular month last year. So you just need to work out for an extra bonus point what that month was. All right. Apart from that, it's 1 point for each correct answer unless otherwise stated. And there's a pitch around as well this week. I have continued with the countdown conundrums that we did last week. Just because it works quite nicely, I think, with this new layout I'm doing here. So your first one is right there. It's on screen now. So if you guess that conundrum correctly, you get an extra 2 bonus points. And of course, if you use the bonus point from Ruben, that's another bonus point. So technically, you could get 4 extra points here on top of the 15 questions that I'm going to ask you. So, with that said then, remember you don't put your answers in the comments anymore. To anybody new that's watching, you need to make a note of these answers yourself, and then I'll give you the answers at the end of the round. I can also do repeats of questions, but we do that after the 15th question is asked. So make a note of all these answers yourself, and then you can mark your own and submit your scores in the comments at the end. Feel free as well to make any other comments, and of course don't forget, whilst you're watching the show tonight, give the appropriate emoji reactions, give us a like and the love and the care emojis. All the good emojis help the show out a lot, and people do watch these shows back once they're live or watch them for the first time after they're live. Which is really nice to see, but that also means that your interactions whilst we're live make the show even more enjoyable for people. So, here we go then with question number 1. Which company became the first in the world to be valued at more than $3 trillion? That's trillion with a T. Which company became the first in the world to be valued at more than $3 trillion? So that's question number 1. Question number 2. Who was tasked with investigating the Downing Street lockdown party allegations? Who was tasked with investigating the Downing Street lockdown party investigations or allegations? So for 1 more point there. Who was tasked with conducting the investigation? Question number 3. Who won the men's singles title at the Australian Open? This is tennis, of course. Who won the men's singles title at the Australian Open? Question number 4. Following on from that, who won the women's singles title at the Australian Open of last year? Who won the women's singles title at the Australian Open last year? Oh, Jan's in the chat tonight. Good evening, everyone. Happy to have made it this week earlier. Good luck with answering the questions. I'm glad you could be here, my friend. Thank you. And yes, we have just started that first round, so good timing. Good timing. Let's have a quick look how we're getting on then. So, the next question is the MP Christian Wakeford defected to which party in this month last year? The MP Christian Wakeford defected to which party in this month last year? Okay, question number 6 now. Question number 6. A customer of Tesco in Fulbourn was asked to prove he was over 18 so he could buy what? This is so ridiculous. A customer of Tesco in Fulbourn. If you're not aware of Tesco, perhaps you're watching from another country or you don't know what Tesco is. It's just a supermarket, okay? Nothing particularly special. Nothing, in a particular field. It's just a general supermarket to the benefit of anybody else watching. It was an unrestricted product. They shouldn't have been ID'd for it. But a customer of Tesco's in Fulbourn was asked to prove he was over 18 so he could buy which product? That's question number 6. Okay, question 7 now. I'll give you multiple choice for this one. Which town was voted the worst place to live in the UK by the website ilivehere.com at this time, in particular, that we're talking about from last year? Which town was voted the worst place to live in the UK by the website ilivehere.com? Now, the multiple choice is as follows: Aylesbury, Grimsby, or Hartlepool. Choose one of those, please. One of those is your correct answer. Aylesbury, Grimsby, or Hartlepool. Which could it be? He says, do you know that in Poland you cannot buy alcohol-free beer or alcohol-free wine if you are not 18? And no, Swindon's not one of those 3. I didn't necessarily give you the bottom 3 either. I just gave you the bottom 1 and 2 other randoms. So I can neither confirm nor deny where the Swindon was on that list. But one of those 3 was definitely the worst place. And no, I didn't know that. But it makes sense because I guess it kind of makes sense. Because although they're alcohol free, they're normally just very, 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 very low alcohol. And there is actually like a 0.1% in there somewhere, which is probably one of the reasons why. But also, you don't really want kids to be buying that kind of product, simulating the fact that it's alcohol or could be alcoholic, it just causes problems, I guess. Yeah, it's quite funny though when you say it out loud, isn't it, that they can't buy non-alcoholic drinks. Yeah. All right, question number 8. Which UK supermarket chain began selling tearless onions? Which UK supermarket chain began selling tearless onions? Question number 9 now. Question number 9. Turkmenistan gave orders to extinguish the huge Darvaza gas crater that had been burning for decades. But what nickname was it known by? Turkmenistan gave orders to extinguish the huge Darvaza gas crater that was burning for decades. But what nickname was it known by? That's question number 9. On to question number 10 now. Controversial subject. Who elected to face Virginia Giuffre in the US courts in a trial by jury? Who elected to face Virginia Giuffre in the US courts in a trial by jury? Of course, what happened after this is a matter of discussion. Perhaps not for this show. But who elected to face Virginia Giuffre in the US courts in a trial by jury? right, question 11 now. Question 11. The 2022 African Cup of Nations began in which country? The 2022 African Cup of Nations began in which country? Four more questions to go in the round. We move on to question 12. Which dating app was accused of ageism by charging the over 50s more for its premium services? Which dating app was accused of ageism by charging the over 50s more for its premium services? Three more questions to go in this round. Remember, I will do repeats if you need me to. Just let me know in the comments once we get past that last question. Question 13. A volcanic eruption in which country caused several tsunami warnings? A volcanic eruption in which country caused several tsunami warnings? So think about all the questions we've asked so far, because remember, it's all relevant to one particular month in the year, and that may help you work out which country it could have been around that time as well. Question 14 now. Question 14. What was the name of the storm that hit the UK and killed 2 people? What was the name of the storm that hit the UK and killed 2 people? And finally, question 15. What were the names of the 2 operations launched by Number 10 Downing Street in an attempt to save Boris Johnson's job as Prime Minister? So again, this is going to narrow it down a bit more. What were the names of the 2 operations launched by Number 10 Downing Street in an attempt to save Boris Johnson's job as Prime Minister? 1 point for each there. Don't forget to have a go at the countdown conundrum at the bottom of the screen. Can you work out which word that spells? And you get bonus point if you work out the month of last year that all of this round is relevant to. And of course you can use your bonus point for Ruben's question from earlier on as well if you were here and got it right. Oh, Chris says very difficult tonight. Oh, it's a tricky one. Yeah, the other 2 rounds you might not think the same, I'm sure. Varying difficulty, but yes. There are some tough questions. Okay, alright. Anyone need a repeat of a question, if only to give you a bit more thinking time? Let me know in the comments. If not, we shall go through those answers. A reminder though, whilst we do that, bit more thinking time to give you here, but to anybody new that's watching, in the description of this video there's a link to my Beacon page which has all the places you can go to support me for what I do here. And a reminder to anyone watching that is a Patreon member of mine, next week we won't be here on Facebook Live. Next week will be the return of the Patreon quiz night, which means we'll be via Google Meet again. Haven't decided yet what we're going to do, which game we'll play. There's lots of different ones we like to play. But up for discussion, for those of you who are watching tonight that are Patreons, if there's any of those games we played before you'd like to see come back, maybe those will be the ones that we do. You can have first dibs as a reward for being here watching tonight. Alright, I'm going to go through the answers then, because I have not seen any comments about repeats. So here we go, let's see how well you did. Question 1. Which company became the first in the world to be valued at more than $3 trillion? That is Apple. Question 2. Who was asked or tasked to investigate the Downing Street lockdown parties and the allegations surrounding them? It was Sue Gray. Totally independent person, of course. Question 3. Who won the men's, and for question 4, who won the women's singles titles at the Australian Open? Rafa Nadal won the men's and Ashley Barty won the women's. Question 5. The MP Christian Wakeford defected to which party in this month of 2022? So he defected from the Conservative Party to the Labour Party. So you had to put Labour for 1 point. Question 6. A customer of Tesco's in Fulbourn was asked to prove he was over 18 so he could buy which typically unrestricted product? It was to buy a kind of sausages. Got to the till, it was scanned in, and it flagged up saying that the person at the checkout needed to ask him for ID to prove he was over 18. Now this was because it got put through their till systems, translated incorrectly. It was put through as secataires instead of the French word saucignon or saucignon, which basically means sausage. It's a kind of sausage though from France. So because it was put through as secataires instead, they were asked for ID. They were just trying to buy sausages, really. There you go. Vanya and Peter abandoned us again tonight. They need to work less and quiz more. Yeah, I know. They did message me, bless them. It's fine, it's fine. I did ask if they were joining Patreon for next week, though. So you might want to check with her about that, because I did message her, and I think she's too busy, so she hasn't checked her messages since then. But thank you for commenting, Jew. Hopefully we'll have them back soon. All right, so sausages is the answer for number 6. Number 7, the worst place to live in the UK, according to ILiveHere.com, is Aylesbury, as of this time last year that we're talking about here. Question 8, which UK supermarket chain began selling tearless onions? It is Waitrose. Jew says it's not fine, I will probably have 2 points. Well, we'll just take the mickey out of them next time they're back, yeah? Don't you worry. You get your own back. All right, question number 9. In Turkmenistan, the Darvaza gas crater, or Darvaza gas crater, that was asked to close was nicknamed the Gateway to Hell. If you Google it, you'll probably find out why. It's pretty scary stuff. Question 10. Who elected to face Virginia Giuffre in the US courts in a trial by jury? It was Prince Andrew. Question 11. In 2022, African Cup of Nations, it began in which country? It began in Cameroon. Question 12. Which dating app was accused of ageism by charging the over 50s more for its premium services? It is Tinder. Question 13. A volcanic eruption in which country caused several tsunami warnings? This one was in Tonga. Question 14. The storm that killed 2 people as it hit the UK was called Storm Malik. And finally, question 15 for 2 bonus points, or for 2 points, sorry. The names of the 2 operations launched by the Tory party at number 10 to save Boris Johnson's job as Prime Minister, spoiler alert, it didn't work, were called Operation Red Meat and Operation Save Big Dog. I'm not making it up. There we go. All right, tally up those scores. Now, the answer for the dingbat is, not the dingbat, for the Countdown Conundrum is automatic. So automatic, if you work that one out, you get 2 points for that one, all right? Because we always do 2 points for the pictures, or whatever picture quiz we include. Okay, so 2 points for that. He does kind of look like a Labrador, yes, I suppose. In a weird way, maybe yes. More like a golden retriever if we're looking at the hair and thinking about that. Maybe, yeah. Oh, I don't know. It's all fun and games. Okay, so there we go. That's the end of the round. Tally up your scores. 2 points for the conundrum if you got that one correct. 1 point for each correct answer in that first round as always. And you can add on a bonus point if you guess the month, which was January. January is from last year, is where all of those answers came from. Okay, all that stuff happened throughout January. So there's a bonus point for that as well. Let's see how well you did. Please do let me know in the comments. And then we'll be moving on to our next round. Whilst you're working all that out, I'll let you know the next round is called Double A, as you can see from the bar across the bottom of the screen there, because all the answers are 2-word answers, both beginning with A. So we recently did a similar one at the pub quiz I hosted at the pub on Thursday just gone, which was for Double C. So I thought we'll do a similar round tonight here, hence Double A. So just the 15 points for that one, no multiple point questions, but every answer will be 2 words beginning with A as part of a phrase. Here we go then, let's look at these comments that are coming in then. Tough for the donuts, they scored 10 points. Jan says, golden if hair, but Labradors have that look in their eyes that shows that they are missing some brain. Oh my goodness. Chris says 5 plus 2 for the Blackpool Bar Stewards. Shocking. Jan says 3 points for answers, 2 points for the word. Oh, well done. Well, considering English is not your first language, I'd say working out the conundrum is very impressive. And then, yeah, 3 points. I know a lot of it was UK-centric tonight, I'm afraid, for that particular round. So, again, nice one. Jew says Brazilians 8 points. Pinky in the brain, 8 plus 1 for the month and 2 points for the conundrum. So 11. Well done. That's for Blackpool Bar Stewards, although we're in separate locations. I know, that's fine. Appreciate you guys taking part, and it is just the taking part that counts. You know, it's all just for fun, so I'm glad you're here. Right, so that is the end of that first round. Let's move on to this Double A round and see if you have a bit more luck with these questions. And your conundrum for this round is right there. Let's see if you can work that one out this evening. And we're going to move on then to this Double A round. So yeah, each question, or the answer to each of these questions, begins with a A for both the words, and it's 1 point for each correct answer. So no points if you only get one of the 2 words correct, okay? Because both those words make up the whole answer. Let's see how well you go then in this Double A round. So, question number 1. Which Double A styled themselves as the 4th emergency service? Which Double A styled themselves as the 4th emergency service? Gabby says, if you hadn't included tennis questions, I would have had no clue about the months, so thanks for that. Do you know, I very nearly said as I asked those questions that you might do all right with this round now, because you might work out when this is quite quickly, considering that you love your tennis and are very good at it as well, from what I've seen and heard you share before. So yes, I had a feeling that would help you actually as I read them out. I thought, yeah, okay, this is going to be a bit of a helping hand for some. Tough. It was a tough round in fairness, especially when you might not have realised all those things happened. But hey, now you know. Question 2. Which Double A is another word for vinegar? Which Double A is another word for vinegar? Question number 3. Which Double A celebrate Anzac Day in the Antipodes? Which Double A celebrate Anzac Day in the Antipodes? Okay, then let's go to your next question. Question 4. Which Double A causes the feeling of panic and shortness of breath? Which Double A causes the feeling of panic and shortness of breath? Right, your next question. Question 5. Which AA was won by Rami Malek in 2019? Which AA was won by Rami Malek in 2019? Question number 6 now. Question 6. Which AA is another name for vitamin C? Which AA is another name for vitamin C? Jan says, I get a panic and shortness of breath every time I need to talk to a beautiful woman, but it's now with AA. I wonder, I mean, it could be related. Just saying. It might well be the same thing. Alright, question number 7. Which AA means goodbye friend in Spanish? Which AA means goodbye friend in Spanish? It's not with a AA, okay. Right, then your next question is question number 8. Which AA played Captain Hawkeye Pierce in MASH? Which AA played Captain Hawkeye Pierce in MASH? This is in the TV series. Which AA played Captain Hawkeye Pierce in MASH? Very good show if you haven't ever seen it. Really funny and really good show. Didn't really get on with the film. It was a bit different. I think that came out first and then they made the show afterwards and it was more of a comedy based thing. But yeah, really good show I thought. I watched reruns growing up. Question 9 now. Question 9. Which AA is Stuart Goddard's alter ego? Which AA is Stuart Goddard's alter ego? Question number 10 now. Question 10. Which AA encourages its members to stay sober? Which AA encourages its members to stay sober? Okay, 5 more questions left. Question 11 now. Which AA is the capital of Ethiopia? Which AA is the capital of Ethiopia? By the way, Chris, we finally have Disney Plus in Poland. Amazing! It's the best streaming service. I'm glad you've got it. It is amazing. Right then, next question. Question number 12 now. Question 12. Which AA found TV fame with Ben Miller? Which AA found TV fame with Ben Miller? Yeah, what are the first things you're looking to watch, Jan, if you haven't already started watching? Because I can recommend some. There's so much good stuff on there. And so much more exciting stuff coming as well. Question 13. Question 13 is another tennis question, actually. Gabby's ears prick up on this one. Which AA was the first tennis star to win the Australian Open 4 times? Which AA was the first tennis star to win the Australian Open 4 times? Is it just you, or is the sound 3 seconds after the video? That's frustrating. I hope my sound isn't out for everybody. Might just be a network thing because I'm streaming fine my side, Jan. So yeah, hopefully it's not my side, because then it will affect everybody. Okay, question 14. Which double A has been nominated for an acting Oscar 6 times and has yet to win? Which double A was nominated for an acting Oscar 6 times and was yet to win? Just want to make sure that is definitely still the case. May have been nominated more since I wrote that question. Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah. Yes, we are good, I think. Right, okay, let's go back then. Your next question and the final question. Question 15. Which double A hosts the start of the annual Iditarod Trail race, the world's longest dog sled race? So we're looking for the city and the state. Okay, which double A hosts the start of the annual Iditarod, Iditarod, the Iditarod Trail race, the world's longest dog sled race? And you thought Robin Williams had it bad when he had 4 nominations and won only once. Yeah, I know. Yeah, nominated 6 times without a win. That is harsh. Mind you, is it Martin Scorsese? He's been nominated loads and he only won once. And they say that, you know, he won that because he's Martin Scorsese and hadn't won yet, because he probably didn't deserve it over some of the others when he did win. Although it was still very good. But yeah, Amy Adams 6 times. Sorry, I just said that word. Never mind. Let me know, guys, if you want any more repeats. And we'll go through the answers very soon. The rest of the answers. Let's see how well you did. Hopefully you got some more points in this one. Hopefully. Happy to arrange any repeats. And remember, for the Patreons watching, let me know what kind of games do you want to play in the Patreon quiz next week. What should we do? We got... we can do the speed quizzing again. We could do Jeopardy. We could do the TikTok quiz game that we've played. Tic-tac-toe, tic-tac quiz game that I created. Blockbusters, I think we're going to do. I think that will be one of them. All sorts of fun and games we have on that. Okay, no comments are coming in, so I'm just delaying. Twister. I don't think we can do that virtually. Hilarious, though. The answer is Jack Nicholson, who won his 3rd Oscar on the same night that Robin won, told Robin Williams after the ceremony, "You know, Robbo, now I've got one for every decade of my career." Yes, I have heard that story. I have. Yeah. Robin Williams deserved more for his work. Bless him. He really did. Okay. Let's go through then the answers for this round. Okay. Question number 1. The AA that styled themselves as the 4th emergency service is the AA, Automobile Association, it stands for. Question 2. The AA, that is another word for vinegar, is acetic acid. Question 3. The AA that celebrate Anzac Day is the Australian Army. Question 4. The AA that causes that feeling of panic and shortness of breath is anxiety attack. Question 5. Which AA has won the Rami Malek was won by Rami Malek in 2019? That was the Academy Award, or the Oscar, but Academy Award is the official name for it. Question 6. Which AA is another name for vitamin C? That is ascorbic acid. ascorbic acid. Question 7, which double A means goodbye friend in Spanish? That is adios amigo. Question 8, which double A played Captain Hawkeye Pierce in MASH? He was called Alan Alda. Question 9, the double A that is Stuart Goddard's alter ego, he's Adamant. Question 9, the double A that is, sorry, question 10, the double A that encourages its members to stay sober, that is Alcoholics Anonymous. Question 11, the double A that's the capital of Ethiopia is Addis Ababa. Question 12, the double A that found TV fame with Ben Miller is Alexander Armstrong. Question 13, the double A that was the first tennis star to win the Australian Open 4 times is Andre Agassi. Question 14, the double A that's been nominated for an acting Oscar 6 times and has yet to win was Amy Adams. And question 15, the double A that hosts that annual race, the world's longest dog sled race, it is in Anchorage, Alaska. Okay, the answer for the countdown conundrum is undefined. 2 points if you got that one right. 1 point for each correct answer on the double A round. No half points. Okay, it's either 1 point because you got it exactly right, or I'm afraid you get no points if you got it wrong or partially right. But really, I'm not going to be able to tell because I'm not marking your entry sheets. Let me know in the comments how many points you got, including the 2 points there for the countdown conundrum, and a bonus point for your Ruben's answer if you got his question right earlier as well. 8 points for this round plus 2. Well done, Jan. 8 points out of 15 plus the 2 bonus points there. That's a good effort. Chris says 11 plus 2. Who is Amy Adams? I'm sure after the show, if you Google her, you will go, oh, that's her name. You'll know who she is, yeah. She, I don't know, I mean, I could say some of the roles she played in, but if you haven't seen those films, you still wouldn't know. But she was Lois Lane opposite Henry Cavill in the more recent Superman movies. I mean, that's not going to be happening anymore. But she was in those opposite him. And she was also in Enchanted, I think it was called, the musical, and the sequel to that, which is either coming out or has come out very recently. She's done loads of films. Right, who else? Jew says a Brazilian's got 9 plus 2. Very good, okay. Unbelievably, Gabby says, Pinky in the Brain, I've got 15 plus 2. Outstanding, wow. Jan says, by the way, on the 18th of Jan, I had my 20th anniversary of not drinking alcohol. Really? That's amazing. I had no idea you were like, that was even a thing for you, mate. I had no idea. Wow, that is amazing. Congratulations. That is a massive achievement. Oh, now you know. Brilliant. Excuse me. Good. Glad I could help. Yeah, I wasn't sure because, you know, if you haven't seen those films either, then it's not going to narrow it down much for you. But hopefully that clearly has sorted it out for you. So that's good. All right, so there we go. I think that's all the scores. My camera's just frozen. I did wonder if this would happen, guys, and it has. This is what happened last week even. I'm sure you can still hear me, but you're going to have to bear with me. I don't know why this has happened, but I am going to have to just restart quickly. It will bring back the show in the same feed, so don't go anywhere. I promise you we'll be right back, okay? Unless it's going to catch up. Let me just check the chat and make sure what's happening here. Hold on. You can still see me. Yeah, it might have just frozen on my side. The problem is if I don't do something quickly, it'll just mean I can't move on. Yeah. Basically, it freezes on my laptop down here, and it looks like the camera's frozen. but at the same time, it's streaming still okay. So yeah, I can't move on. I'm just going to try and move on. Basically, don't drop off the stream. Just keep it open. I close things down my end and return again quite quickly after, and it will just carry on from where we left off. That's what happened last time, okay? I'm not sure why this has happened. Yeah, it doesn't refresh on my screen, but it probably does for you. Yeah. In fact, I can see it has, annoyingly. I'm watching it on the feed as well, and it has, but it just hasn't on my Chromebook. Yeah, okay. That's frustrating. Right, just give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back.